Recently, I photographed the Italian Market Festival in Philadelphia. It's a great event they have every year on the 9th Street Italian Market. And of course, there's food, people selling things, there's music, there's people climbing the grease pole. And for me, the best part of the event is a parade of saints. They carry these statues of various saints through the streets, and people pin money to ribbon that is draped around the statue. And if you saw Godfather 2, there's a great scene when Don Corleone was young where they have this event, this parade of saints. Now, I shot this event last year using zoom lenses on my mirrorless cameras. This year, I wanted to shoot it in black and white with manual focus lenses. And I could have done that with film, but I decided to use my mirrorless camera just like I would have used a film camera. And the reason for that, well, there's several reasons for that. One is, of course, the cost of film. I was out there for like 3 hours. There's a lot going on. I'm going to take a lot of pictures, and film is very expensive today. And number two, with the film, I would have to process the film, scan the negatives. It's just so much easier with a mirrorless camera. And one of the great things with mirrorless cameras, and I've spoken about this previously, is you could adapt just about any lens to a mirrorless camera. So the lenses I chose were a Minolta Rocore MC 28mm 3.5, a very compact, very sharp, all metal construction lens. And that's the lens I'm primarily going to talk about in this video today. And also a Canon FD on my Nikon Z8. But what we're really going to look at today are pictures taken with the Z6 with this 28mm Minolta. And of course, I had it set for monochrome mode. Of course, there's no autofocus. And one of the great things about manual focus lenses, one of the advantages that manual focus lenses have over their autofocus counterparts is there's a depth of field scale on the lens. Modern autofocus lenses don't even have an aperture ring. So what I did, I set my lens to f11, aperture priority. I did use auto exposure, okay? And I set my focus to 7 feet. And at f11, at 7 feet, focus distance at 7 feet, everything is acceptably sharp from approximately 4 feet to infinity. So all I have to do is just point and shoot, basically. Frame my image and shoot. I don't have to worry about focus. You say, well, you can do, all the focus is so good today and you can do that. Yeah, in a way. But if you want to grab something really quick, and sometimes you'll see something, it's happening, and you got to shoot immediately, there's no time to select a different focus point. And sometimes when you do that, if the subject is fairly close, the focus point may focus on something far away in the background. Okay, if you have, let's say you have the center focus point selected, you see something happening to your right, you go to frame it, and the focus missed. So doing it this way, I know everything from about 4 feet to infinity is going to be sharp. All I have to do is raise the camera and shoot. So I think that is an advantage for street type photography, photography where you have to shoot quickly, where you don't want to be seen, let's say. Now, one of my favorite photographers is Henri Cartier-Bresson. He coined the phrase the decisive moment for just taking the shot right at that critical moment when everything seems to fit. There's many great pictures of his. There's one where a man is jumping over a puddle of water, and he caught the shot just as his right heel is above the water. There's a tiny little bit of space between his right heel and the water, and his left leg is out in the other direction. It's just an amazing shot. There's no way you'd be able to get that picture if you were trying to focus on that man who is airborne, essentially. Now, he used a Leica camera, a very small camera. I believe he used both 50 and 35 millimeter lenses. And he probably, in that case, had pre-focused on that area. Maybe he was just waiting for someone to come into the scene. And there's many images of his like that. And he was very unobtrusive as he photographed. In fact, sometimes he would wrap his camera in a handkerchief. So I recently read about him years ago, and so many of his images. And a few weeks ago, I had read a little story about him, explaining some of his images. And I wanted to try to do some photography like that. So that's why I chose black and white. That's why I chose a manual focus lens. Now, I don't believe he used a 28, so I went a little wider. But it was a lot of fun to do that, trying to just observe people, their actions, and try to get some interesting photographs. It doesn't always work. I shot a lot more images than I'm sure he did. I shot several hundred images. And overall, I'm pleased. I'm no Henri Cartier-Bresson. Sometimes if a subject was close to me, let's say it appeared they're going to be closer than 4 feet, I would just turn the focus ring just a little bit to extend the depth of field closer. So why black and white? Black and white just to try to be like Mr. Bresson. And another great thing with mirrorless cameras when shooting in a monochrome mode is your view through the viewfinder is in black and white. And of course, that's something we never had shooting film cameras. You look through an optical viewfinder. So I kind of like that. You kind of can pre-visualize what the image is going to look like more when you see it all in black and white. And then the other advantage is that those pictures, since I shot in RAW, could easily, in a RAW converter, be taken back to color. So you could then look at the comparison. In fact, I think I'm going to do a future video showing some of these images in black and white and then converting it to color just to see the difference and to see, you know, what looks better. I always loved black and white photography. Some of my favorite all-time images, Eisenstadt, Bresson, Eugene Smith, Eugene Smith, were great black and white images. And Ansel Adams, of course, shot his great landscapes primarily in black and white. And I've always loved it. I just prefer today shooting it in mirrorless. And I still occasionally shoot film, but I just think there are so many advantages to the mirrorless camera that I think in the future I'm still going to use those manual focus lenses, but I'm going to shoot them on a mirrorless camera. And I think I'll do another video in the future expanding more on that thought. So tell me what you think about some of these images. Do you think they work? Do you think I was Henri Cartier-Bresson-like or not? And do you do that? Do you shoot black and white with your mirrorless camera? Do you shoot with manual focus lenses? And you know what? People talk about sharpness, and yes, the newer lenses, the mirrorless camera lenses are sharper. They're higher in contrast. But I just like the look of some of these older lenses for some things, not for everything, but for some things, I really like the look of these old lenses. And I will continue to shoot them on my mirrorless cameras. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I publish a new video every Monday morning and Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. And if you have any questions about this video, please leave them in the comments below. I try to respond to all questions and comments. So until next time, happy picture taking.